Welcome back. Now, this week in Extra Special highlights a policy shift that's creating waves across Africa's travel community, especially among Nigerians planning to fly to the United States. The United States recently introduced a visa ban, which is affecting citizens from several African countries, restricting entry for thousands of applicants and tightening eligibility criteria. The move has sparked concerns among students, professionals, tourists, and families who had travel plans, forcing many to confront a new reality of uncertainty and disrupted mobility. So to help us unpack what this means and what travelers should know or what you should need while putting those jackpot plans together, we're joined by Oladipupo Adewale, an immigration consultant. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, Queen. Thanks for having me.
When I'm seeing that in my head, I'm thinking, do I need visa now? But anyway, let's talk about this. You know, we've been hearing this, visa issues and all that. Can you just give us an idea of, what this is about? Like, can you just tell us what the visa ban entails and what categories of travelers are more affected?
Yes. Thanks for having me. So it's really not a visa ban, right? It's the second time that our president in the U.S., Donald Trump, has sort of suspended certain African countries, which Nigeria is a part of. The very first time was in his first term of office, and when he lost his re-election bid, the Democrats humbly returned some of those countries, back to be able to apply for visas. And when he came back, sort of what has happened with Africa and Nigeria in recent weeks is the first thing was our new designation of being a country of particular concern. And that basically then obviously makes us a bit of a problem for them on the security side of things. And so it's a suspension, it's not really a ban, but for now, until they change their minds, Nigerians cannot apply for visas or certain visas, which are usually the popular ones: study visas, visiting visas, green cards, and things like that for the foreseeable future.
So suspension, of course, we know that we've been seeing a lot of denial recently. So what's new? What would be the changes you think that Nigerians will experience at the consulate now?
So usually, and this really goes to the big four, we call them the big four, that's UK, US, Canada, and Australia, is that they usually follow each other. Now, of the four of them, three of them are Commonwealth countries, right? Australia, UK, and Canada. Now, UK being the sort of the big brother or the daddy to all of them, all the Commonwealth countries, which Nigeria is actually a part of, right? And what usually happens is that once one of them begins to complain or shift their visa policies, which also is really tied to how they elect officials, because unlike Africa, usually people will campaign on certain policies, and immigration is usually a very strong one. Because Australia, UK, and Canada, immigration has been very big in how they have sort of uplifted their economy. They bring the biggest talents into their countries, give them opportunities for work and things like that. And so what usually happens is that once one of them begins to complain, and it was Australia first a couple of years ago when the new prime minister came in, then before we knew it, the UK followed suit. And in that same period, a new prime minister emerged in the UK. And then shortly after, in Canada, now the Liberal Party didn't want to lose their seats, and then they removed their prime minister and brought the new prime minister.
Weapon fashioned against us.
Yes. And so what happened is that the three Commonwealth countries changed their policies. So right now, those three countries also have sort of reduced, right, how you can enter their country.
Right.
Now, US is like the big brother to everybody. It's like, they say the leader of the free world. So what they usually do is they go with force, right? Just like we saw them do in recent weeks, when they sorted out the Gaza issues and things like that, is that they then say, look, if you're on this list, you are suspended, right? You're either suspended or banned. But right now they're calling it a suspension. And probably one of the biggest reasons is for security. The second reason is because the high number of Nigerians and Africans that try to go into these countries, a lot of times we use fraudulent documentation. The processes are not, as straightforward as they would like it. And that's what the four of them have actually started doing. Now, for the longest time, between you and I, and our audience,
and our guests,
the US has always been the easiest one to scale through, right? It's been very, very easy to game, right? Now, why am I saying this? Is because with the US, you fill a form, and then you go to the visa officer, and then you just answer questions. And if you're able to sell your life very well, you scale through, right? Now, Australia, UK, and Canada, you just fill forms, provide documentations, and you can go.
And then they get to peruse through your documents and decide.
So the US is saying, look, we haven't changed this thing for a very long time. It's now time that we take a look at it. And part of what they've changed is that, look, your social media, we're going to scrub through. So if you were a child many years ago and used to tweet a lot of nonsense, you probably want to go and check those things and say, look, I've now advanced, I'm now a grown adult.
I'm a repentant.
I've repented, right? And so that's usually what happens. And so it makes it difficult. Now, the other problem they have is that when people say they want to go study in the US or they want to go work in the US, the documentations that we are providing now has become a lot more fraudulent for them, because why do you get there and then you begin to seek asylum? You get there and then you cannot pay your tuition.
Right.
And whereas when you apply, you show the visa officer, oh, I had X amount of money, right? And that's why obviously we recommend that people obviously plan properly when they're looking to go abroad.
Well, you know, visa, I have a thing for visa conversations because,
You see,
but anyway, before we continue this conversation, let's go on a quick break. When we come back, Oladipupo is here with us. Welcome back. We're having a conversation about visa ban and suspension with Oladipupo, our immigration. Because see, this visa thing, I'm sure a lot of people like ask questions. See, it's crazy. And it's weird how you say US is like the easiest. A lot of people don't like talking, so they'll rather even give you all the documents. Now, you had mentioned how, you know, they feel like most of the documents provided are fraudulent. And I think for me, would you say the reason why a lot of people are leaving Nigeria is because of the situation here in Nigeria? You hear of, you know, if you get there, if they take your tax, at least you have enough money to feed yourself. It's straightforward. You have your basic amenities. Would you say that those are the reasons why a lot of people are just carrying their bags? Say, whoa, greener pastures, it's greener on the other side.
Yeah, I had this question asked on radio the other day.
Yeah.
The reality is that I think it's different strokes for different folks. I never wanted to leave the country, right? And I would say that at a very young age, I couldn't even afford to go abroad. And then when I could afford it, I'm pro-Nigerian. I love my country. I want to be here to fix my country. Now, as somebody who has helped thousands of people over the last 10 years, I think that if people travel for different reasons, right? Parents will send their children abroad because they don't want their children to go through what they're going through here. Sometimes people would plan and say, look, let me just get a second passport because we don't know when Yawa go gas for our country, right? And then some people, and I think this is the greater populace, is that we are focused on the lies that we hear on social media or the news that we read, which is that, it's easy to go to this place, so live here and go and get a job, or you can make money in dollars. And that is not usually the reality. Because a great number of people that I know that go abroad, they still go and work in supermarkets, they go to work in warehouses. It's not all rosy where you are going to get a KPMG UK job,
Right.
you know, or some very big media job in Canada and things like that. So the main reason is because people are looking for something better, and that is not always what's best.
But wouldn't you say that most times when they go to work at these warehouses and supermarkets, they still earn more than people were doing 9 to 5?
Certainly, and then, but their health life is not fantastic. You know, they have back pains.
Is it fantastic?
So there's nothing like home. Like, let's be very realistic. And I'm not poo-pooing my business because this is what I do for a living, right? But the reality is that there has to be a balance, right? Immigration has been since before our time, right? It's Sunday. If you're a believer, you understand that the Bible talks about how people have been moving for the longest time.
Right.
So it's part of our life, right? People need to move, but not everybody can move, right? And particularly when you're coming from the biggest African country with over 200 million people, you know, as the populace. So the question is that how many of us can move, right? How much space do you have in all these other countries that can accommodate us? Then the other reality is that do we meet their certain academic thresholds? You know, our professionals here, do they meet the standards of what they are looking for you to go and get there? A lot of my customers who live here as big men, as GMs and directors, when they go there, they take 3 steps, 4 steps down. So yes, the money may be a lot more, but the quality of life is not everything, right? There's nothing like home. You're never going to be anything but a second-class citizen.
Have access to a Malan stuff, very easy and fresh.
God bless you. How many of our friends come home every Christmas and you guys are like, let's go to this place, let's go to this spot, don't take where I chop amala, you know, those kind of things. But yes, it's a balance, right? And now, I don't disagree that a lot of people go abroad and they make it, particularly from the undergrad level where we're like, okay, come for undergrad, postgrad, you are below 30, you're below 35, you stand a very great chance to be able to become something there. That's something that you can do for yourself. You get a second passport or you get residency, yes. But then when you see people who do not have let's also be frank, good enough degrees here in Nigeria, and they're just trying to find a way to go there, it's a very, very difficult thing.
Right. So let's talk about the people who already, planned to jackpot or study or to go and work. Now everything is on suspension. So what should they expect? Their timeline, their money, their expectations. How should they plan?
Yeah, so until Marco Rubio, the Secretary of the U.S. government, speaks right now, the U.S. is sort of on hold. There's nothing you're going to be able to do. Obviously, the U.S. has a very large organization here that works with Nigerian students, particularly it's called Education USA. So you want to follow them for more updates on that.
Okay.
The UK also has sort of, again, our dollar rate has sort of not helped us, right? But there are certain countries like Canada that still have a lot of opportunities for you. Canada still has a steady decline and a high need for talent. So there are opportunities that you can look for in Canada and the UK right now, particularly if you're under 35. And I certainly know that there's one coming up in Nigeria very, very soon, where they are even looking to fund Nigerian students who want to come study in Canada.
Okay. So now let's talk about visa processes.
Yeah.
A lot of people say, don't use agent. They will mess you up. I have to use that word. I apologize.
Yeah.
But tell us what are the practical challenges when you're applying for a visa for someone? What do you encounter? Is it better to use an agent or they can, apply for themselves? All
right. So I guess this is usually the time that people will plug themselves in and say, obviously, Google me, I'm a trusted this and
check
that.
Who I am.
Yeah, you check who I am, king of jackpot on all platforms, deliver education. But you see, the reality here is that one of our big problems in Nigeria is that certain sectors are not regulated, right? You've got doctors who have to spend, I think, 7 years in school, 2 years housemanship, NYSC. They spend like 11, 12 years, right? And they are heavily regulated, right? Even if we don't think it's as good because we see a lot of medical cases. But the problem is that in our own industry, there's no regulation, right? And honestly, it's probably time that the Minister of Education and the Minister of Foreign Affairs probably look into this. Now, so the problem is that you have a lot of what you call quack agents, right? And I call my business a bread and butter business, which means that anybody can do it. And when anybody can do something and there's no NAFDAC to regulate who is producing bread, then you have a lot of issues with agents, right? Now, usually what also happens is that because my brothers and sisters are eager to leave the country, any small thing that they tell you on social media or any small lie, they say, madam, don't worry, just trust us, money back guaranteed, all those kind of things. Then people drop their monies and then you've got 1 visa denial, 2 visa denials, 3 visa denials. And that's really the big problem. Now, the other reality you must understand is that you're looking to go to a country that is much more advanced than you, and you are providing 3-4 documents to be able to ascertain that you qualify to get this visa. A visa is a document that says, grant me access into your country. And then the visa officer is basically saying, tell me who you are, tell me what you do, tell me that I can trust you. And then already from a Nigeria whereby we cannot ascertain certain documents are true. We can't verify that you actually went to school for WAEC or undergrad, right? We don't know that your job is very, very legitimate. Until the former President Buhari's DG of CAC, you couldn't even verify your CAC records. I've had that issue before where you cannot say, oh, this person actually has this company. But in his own time, they sort of digitized the whole platform. So now embassies can go verify that, oh, this company is actually active, this is where they are paying their tax and annual returns. And even that is not reassuring for them. So usually the problem that we have is that people cannot provide the right documentation. And for you to provide the right documentation, sometimes you need to have the right counsel or you do your research.
Now you are struck a curve. Now let's do this.
So
you're talking about right documents.
Yeah.
I can give you so many instances with visa. Let me start with one. A friend of mine got a grant and sponsorship to go to film school. And then she applied. Like literally, I was there when she wrote the exam. They denied her.
Yeah.
I said, with even your scholarship passport, what's going on?
So what those schools would do now, since I don't know when your friend did that, is that they would also guide you. Now, those schools now have a visa section that will specialize in how to guide you because it's not enough for you to get the grant. Our people here we've so spoiled the system that even when you get the grant, they are still skeptical.
Okay, so that's one. What about someone else who, she wanted to go for a course in America and she paid her school fees complete. I know that when you apply, they'll tell you there's a certain amount. She paid complete. And the question they ask her is, why do you pay complete? If you have so much money, why are you traveling? Kini.
So what we found, and the other reality, the truth in the last 10, 15 years that I've been in this business is that it does seem like they single us out. So sometimes it's like, my people will say, not the way you go do, they go deny you. No, I'm not kidding. I've been to the US Embassy before, and maybe there were 100 people before me. And I think that day, they only gave like 8 or 9 of us.
Oh my God.
Everybody was
see, even inside. I am scarred. Like.
So it does happen. You make small mistakes. You don't follow the right process. So let me give you an example, like I said, with Education USA. When you want to go to the US, it's always best to go through partners and platforms that have an insight into the embassy.
Okay, so for someone, what would be your advice for someone who has been refused multiple times with travel history, no overstay, legit work, everything? How would you advise that person?
Send me a DM. Reach out to Labor Education or Japa Partners. Send me a DM. But the reality is that the first thing that I really hope the person would have is that when you've been denied visas, do you have all the documents that you use? Right? I've had some visa denials before where I did not realize that somebody who I paid to do something, either a lawyer, did not get it done for me. And then when they went to verify, it looks like I told a lie. And you're lucky if they don't even ban you. So sometimes when you're applying for your visa, the laissez-faire attitude of, oh, I'm too busy, I can't follow through, I cannot review, is partly why you get denied. I've had people who said that an agent used another person's information for their information and then they got denied. And sometimes you get banned. Another thing is that you trust somebody with your bank statement, the person uses your bank statement for other customers'
My
work.
God.
And so the embassy is wondering, you use it for Chinonsu, you use it for Dio, and they use it for Annabelle. How come? Are you related to all of them? And those are the issues when you obviously use what we call quack agents, right?
Right.
And so you want to make sure that you're taking a look at all the documentation. You are hand in hand with your agent. You ask questions because you paid for a service, right? And so you have the right to ask questions and make sure that the person actually, is doing the right thing. And I would obviously add that, thank God for technology, you have ChatGPT. You can verify a lot of what the agent even tells you.
Yeah.
Just don't pay 500,000 naira, 1 million, and then you get scammed and you get denied.
So I think my last question would be, what are the prices for visas? Because don't you think there should be a policy where you pay for visa, they don't give you, they should refund your money back?
In our business, we say it's one of the biggest shams because when you pay $150 for a Canadian visa and they deny 100,000 students, you're like, oh, well, these guys are really.
If you start doing the
out.
calculation, I think that's why I think the Philippines visa, before they collect your money,
they will let you know.
They will let you know if they will give you. So you know that your money is like you can sleep. But US, UK, you just pay express, deny.
So let me paint a different. Let me paint a different scenario for you. And
okay.
Honestly, I'm going to use Canada because I have something coming for Canada next week in Lagos, right? Okay. Where some of the partners are coming from Canada.
Okay.
Now, when you do $150 times 100,000 people, for instance, you need to understand that the Philippines does not get as much visa traction as Canada does. So the Canadian embassy probably processes 2 million Nigerian visas a year. I don't know if the Philippines processes 100,000. Now, those guys in the Canadian embassy are going to do the work. They're going to verify documents. Now, the other thing is that they will pay salaries, right? Now, when your people go there, the ones who say they were going to school and don't have money, then begin to seek asylum. And the asylum date is 5 years from now. Sometimes this is the cost of doing business because the embassy is going to be responsible for these people or the Canadian government when they are there. Right. So it's a balance. I understand what people say when they say, oh, return our money if we're going to get denied. But then let's also be very, very frank. The chances that you will get denied if you have the right documents are pretty slim. Or if you even understand the terrain. Like I said, visa policies are tied to governments and elections. So when you see that the country is not accepting you, just chill, stay in your country or find somewhere else to go.
Let us chill. Well, Oladipupo, thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
This was an amazing conversation because, visa people, we have a little beef with them. But like you said, we have to all go through the right process, make sure that your documents are complete, be honest. And if it's not your time to travel, it's not your time to travel.
Yeah.
Well, guys, you've had it. When you want to apply for visa, check very well and pray.